As a business owner, friend, and mentor, as well as a youth organizational leader, I've come across many situations that were made much worse than they needed to be and could have been resolved better and way faster with improved leadership skills. Today, I want to talk about a few ways that you could improve your leadership skills to take better control of your team and even your personal life. Hi, I'm Dale Walls, and for the last 2 decades, I've been building businesses and leading teams just like you. But I didn't start out with the knowledge, education, or even the confidence to do so. In fact, I was just the opposite. I was often uncertain, afraid of failure, and full of doubt. However, beginning with my time in the Marine Corps, and then afterwards, starting my first business literally from the lint in my pocket to putting an ad in Yellow Pages, and it went on to grow to be an industry-leading 8-figure company. I've been learning, growing, and of course making mistakes as I built the business, but also maintaining a strong family life with my wife and kids. The first leadership skill that you could start to improve today is simply communicating effectively. You might be surprised how many people think they are, but they really aren't. Often failures in leadership are simple communication issues. And what happens? Well, what I see often is that people avoid having quality communication. Did you know that there's 3 components to really have effective communication between us humans? Not only do we need to use our words, but also our tonality and our facial expressions. Something I see leaders fail at often is that they ignore the other 2 and only use their words to communicate in things like email, text, and other forms of messaging. The problem with only messaging style communications that use only words is that you leave out those other 2 critical components for us to communicate effectively. Our use of technology today is great for sharing information, but the problem is that if we don't use it effectively, it can remove our humanity and how we communicate with one another. This often leads to assumptions, misunderstandings, and other forms of miscommunications that cause problems within a team. To improve your leadership skills, be sure to be open to active listening, use clear and concise language, as well as be open to feedback. So make sure that you don't cheapen your communication and therefore be ineffective by using just mediums that are only about your words. Make sure you choose mediums that can not only relay your message clear and concisely, but capture your tonality and your expressions so that the receivers can hear it the way you intended. Recently, I was mediating a conflict between 2 leaders in an organization. There was an unfortunate and unexpected circumstance that arose that needed to be solved for. Rather quickly, the situation became heated. To make things worse, as they progressed, the debate became personal and they started challenging each other's honesty and integrity. Not only were they failing to solve the problem, but they were destroying their working relationship. A week into the situation, after much spent energy and stress, I was brought in to help sort things out. What I found out was not once through the entire situation did these 2 parties pick up the phone and or even have an actual conversation. They were only exchanging words, never stopping to understand that they were working with a fellow human being on the same team and looking for a positive outcome. If they would have actually had a conversation and therefore used more than just their words and included their tonality and expressions, they would have resolved the issue much faster without the big problems, and they wouldn't even have needed my help. The next thing you'll want to focus on is to build a strong team. A strong team is essential for the success of any business or organization. It's important to bring together the right people, provide them the tools and resources they need to succeed, and create a culture that includes trust and collaboration. To accomplish this, focus on creating a positive work environment, setting clear expectation, and being sure to recognize and reward good performance. Recently, in our leadership peer group, we discussed what happens when we bring the wrong people onto our team. This actually happens often, but why? Usually because the objective that leaders set is to fill the position rather than find the right person. To build a strong team is actually an exercise of patience. When the objective is only to fill a position, a leader will often scan resumes, quickly schedule interviews, and just take the best of the batch. But the best of the batch isn't always the best for the role or even the best for the team. The correct objective shouldn't be just to simply fill the position, but to hire the right person for the position. Once you focus on finding the right person, the candidates are compared to how they would fit the role rather than simply just being compared to only one another. Being a good leader isn't about just building a team, it's about building a strong team. And you can't build a strong team unless you're bringing in the right people. To be a truly great leader, we also have to embrace change and be adaptable. This is another area where sometimes leaders aren't performing as well as they might think. For example, sometimes leaders can fall in love with the plans that they create. They put a lot of time into thinking through every little detail in their plans of action. This reminds me of a famous quote from Mike Tyson, which is, "Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth." Now, we might not literally get punched in the mouth, but our plans There are going to be unexpected happenings and different circumstances that you just couldn't have predicted. And where leaders sometimes go wrong is that they fight to not change their plan despite the turbulence. It's important to maintain a constant practice of reflection, revision, and even regrouping on your plans when changes come about so we can remain adaptable. To improve your adaptability, first be honest about how things are actually going. Then be ready to make changes as necessary, and finally be open to feedback and constructive criticism. If this is an area you are looking to improve in, my company Lions Guide helps everyday people become world-class leaders. I'll put a link below for you to learn more about how we can help you lead yourself and lead others better. Talk to you soon.